From the Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development, this is Tennessee Workforce Weekly. Here now is Chris Cannon.
Hi everyone and welcome to Tennessee Workforce Weekly. Workforce development is a big part of what we do. It's why it's in our name. Many of you might not know, but there is a state workforce development board that shapes how Tennessee operates its program across the state. The board meets quarterly and provides guidance to local workforce development boards who oversee how customers receive services in each of Tennessee's 95 counties. Bob Ravener is the chairman of the State Workforce Development Board. And Bob, thanks for joining us today.
Chris, happy to be here.
You have a day job, so why did you feel it was important to take on this voluntary role as chair of this board?
Well, first of all, I think everyone's got an obligation to serve. And I had not had the opportunity much in the past, and can't tell you how honored and privileged I've been to be able to work with the State Workforce Development Board through the leadership of Commissioner Phillips, Chief of Staff Melinda, Denise Thomas, and so many others. It's been to my benefit to be part of that, and I just feel like it's something that I felt like I needed to return, and when you get asked to serve, you should serve.
Now, the State Workforce Board really does have a tremendous impact on workforce development across the state. And one of those biggest impacts just recently happened, and that was the realignment of the workforce development areas. Why did the board feel that was so critical? It passed with a 100% vote.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, when teams are aligned, they perform better, and states are no different. I think it's when you're on one team and you've got alignment where people are all working together to get to the same answers and solve similar issues, you're just going to get there quicker, faster, more efficiently. And I think that's what this has been able to do, is to help the state of Tennessee get better aligned to solve issues more quickly and efficiently.
One of the issues that the board has tackled under your leadership was benchmarks for the local areas and where they needed to meet for spending on programs and for participants. How did that become an issue, and how did you change that?
Well, let's face it, what gets measured gets done. When you put metrics in place and you have accountability, it's much easier for people to know what the goal line is. And then you can work on how to get there versus what am I trying to accomplish. And I think that's, as importantly as anything, really helped drive this forward. And I think the results you're starting to see are because we've been able to not only build the alignment, but build that direction so that people are rowing the same way.
And this fall, it's really starting to kick off. It's at the end of September. It kind of went into full gear. So we'll start seeing the benefits of that in the months to come.
Oh, absolutely. You know, change is a challenge anytime it happens. And the State Workforce Development System has been in place for quite some time, and we just have to manage through that change, help people understand the reasons for those changes, and then all work together to make sure that the state of Tennessee ends up in a better place because of it.
How good of an investment, how good of a return on investment are taxpayers here in Tennessee getting for every dollar that's invested into the workforce?
Well, it's an incredible investment when you think about it. We are seeing over 7x return. So for every dollar invested in the workforce development system, we're seeing over $7 in return. And anybody that could get that kind of return on their dollar spent, and for the taxpayers of Tennessee, we ought to be proud of that.
Talk about the gains we've made during your time on the board here. Obviously, when you put it all together, Tennessee is in a much better place than it was 1, 2, 3, 4 years ago when it comes to unemployment and spending and things like that.
Well, first of all, I'd say I've never been more proud to be part of this public-private relationship that we've got. I think more people in the business community ought to work alongside our state governments and recognize how good the people are there. And I think putting that partnership together has been instrumental. And I think starting out with things like we've done a few years ago, Paychecks for Patriots, the kind of work that the state of Tennessee is doing under great leadership has been that other states and the federal government is taking notice and actually taking a number of our programs and processes and turning them into best practices and being shared across the nation. Especially
for the realignment, because that's something a lot of states are looking at doing, and Tennessee was one of the first to do it. So they're knocking on our door asking, hey, how did you accomplish this?
Well, that's exactly right. Probably the greatest form of flattery is when other people want to try to replicate what you're doing. And we've had a number of outside entities and other states come to us and say, look, how is Tennessee able to pull this off when so many other places have so much difficulty? And it comes right back to leadership, partnership, and alignment, and I think great communication and the work that the board has been able to do to really bring these issues to the fore and work through the challenges of them. And it can't be more proud of the leadership that we've got on the subcommittees and all the members of the board as well.
And the members of the board, they're very diverse. It's not just business leaders, it's legislators, it's business people, it's local people as well. It's a good mix of people on the board.
I think it's a great representation of a cross-section of what we're all trying to do and be in the state of Tennessee. And that brings different thinking, different ideas, and different past practices. And when you can hear the direction other people are coming from, it gives you a better opportunity to understand why they feel that way and then how we can work better together to drive it forward, moving much closer in the same direction.
And the hard work and the vision of the board will really pay off for years to come.
Absolutely. I think the changes we've made in the last several years has been monumental. When you think about it's easy to take an opportunity like this and say, well, it's just another government wheel in motion. But I think between the leadership that's been established here through Commissioner Phillips and his team and all of you and on the state, along with the engagement of the board, has really taken the opportunity to greater heights. And I think that's why we're seeing the kind of results we are.
Great. Well, Bob, I appreciate you stopping by to talk about the Workforce Board.
Thank you
very
Happy
much.
To be here.
And thanks for watching this edition of Tennessee Workforce Weekly. I'm Chris Cannon. From all of us at the Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development, we'll see you next week, online and on demand, starting at 10 a.m. Central.